Any chef worth their salt can't do without this essential mineral. Salt. I'm totally fascinated by salt, especially sea salt. You can see the crew out there shooting a segment for season 3 of Confucius Was a Foodie. And let me tell you, it's hot, hot, hot! These are the salt pans or fields of the Samut Songkhram region of Thailand, southwest of Bangkok. This area is the largest producer of sea salt in the country. Can you imagine what it's like to work here? And let me tell you, it's a process. Between October and April, when there's less rain and the sun is baking hot, windmills pump seawater from the Gulf of Thailand into the fields. There, the sun evaporates the water, leaving the salt. But this is not the light, fluffy stuff you have in your kitchen cabinet. It's damp and super heavy as farmers painstakingly mound it into small pyramids so it can be harvested. And that's hard and hot physical labor. If you click the icon, you can see what I mean. Wheelbarrows and labyrinths of narrow boards lead to the salt barn, and trust me, this is not easy. I'll never touch sea salt again without thinking back to this experience. It's left a lasting impression and a new appreciation. Chinatown in Bangkok is one of the oldest and largest Chinatowns in the world. With unforgettable heat, fragrances, sights, and sounds, it should be on everyone's bucket list. The main road in Chinatown is IAWKER Road. It's been the center for business and trade for the Chinese community here for over 200 years. I've heard it said that the look and feel here is like Hong Kong in the 1960s. Thailand is home to the largest population of overseas Chinese in the world. It's estimated that there are over 9.3 million ethnic Chinese living in Bangkok alone, most completely assimilated to Thai culture. This is a Chinatown open-air market. During the day, the streets are filled with vendors selling produce, juices, and everything else you can imagine. As darkness closes in here, you might say that the excitement is just beginning. And being here as the street transitions from day to night market is fascinating. Nighttime, it's all about food. The choices are endless, sweet, salty, and everything in between. Click the icon to have a look. Too bad you can't taste and smell, but I'm sure you can imagine. Chinese immigration to Thailand all the way back to the 15th century brought the Hokkien people and their culinary traditions. When you're looking at immigration that dates back that far, a lot of lines get blurred. To look at some of the delicious results, I'm visiting Sri Trat in Bangkok, a family restaurant known for the cuisine of the eastern province of Trat. This family-run business is all about the matriarch, former beauty queen, and keeper of the family recipes, Sri Rat Sripinyo. You can check out some dishes and their passion for food by clicking the icon. You can see the influence of various Chinese cuisines. In fact, evolutions of traditional recipes, as well as tastes and flavors that are super familiar. The Thai twist appears to be a lot about heat and sweet. When you get to this main square in Malacca, a few things are gonna happen. You're gonna do a double take because right behind me is an Anglican church. Over here are Dutch windmills. Right behind you there are the canals. That's why it was called the Venice of Asia. And it's this really amazing blend of all things, these crazy influences. And now it's become super touristy because it is really interesting. You're also gonna wanna get one of these suckers because it's hot. And so refreshing, this little baby hollowed out watermelon. There's no booze in here. Don't think there is, because there isn't. Super refreshing. You can get it all along here. There's several stands that do that. If you head way back that way, you're gonna get to the beach, and that would be the port where all the ships came in, the merchants, where they were trading those spices worth gazillions of dollars. That's why this place became known. And people are really friendly, I gotta say. Right here is a great fountain that's commemorating Queen Victoria, and they spoke really highly of her. So obviously they were in good with the Brits. The Brits were the last to rule here. Did I tell you I'm thirsty? Super thirsty. This area is known as the Red Square. Both Christchurch and Studhouse next door were built by the Dutch. And right in the center is one of the last traces of the British colonial era, Queen Victoria's fountain. These rickshaws are pretty unique. Decked out in flowers and branded characters, they are really over the top. And if the decor isn't enough excitement for you, they blast music. I wonder what Queen Victoria thinks about all of this from her perch above the fountain. Peranakan culture is still very strong here in Malacca and has been since about the 13th century. One example is a neighborhood called Yonker Walk. After the Dutch left it, it became the home of many upper-class Peranakan families and businesses. In the past, it was especially popular for its antique shops. Okay, so I'm at Jonker Street in Malacca. It's a pretty bustling place. This street behind me turns into a night market, so all the traffic is going to be gone. It's going to be closed down by night. Probably going to be crazy. Right here to my right is a Chinese version of a bread bowl. So you know how you scoop out the middle and then it's soupy? Who knows what that's going to be like, but I'm told it's really famous. Right over there, I see a massive lineup. The place is called Kopi, and that's the place for Hainanese chicken, right over there. Don't use my name, I don't know if you can get in. Right down that way is where the beach is, if you want to head to the beach. But straight behind me, or behind you, is where the canals are. So that's why they call it the Venice of Asia. It's a really cool little town, lots of people, lots of cool things to see. This is Merdeka Square in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The word Merdeka means independence, and it was here that Malaysia raised their flag for the very first time and proclaimed Merdeka on August 31st, 1957. At the south end of the square, a flagpole towers at 100 meters. It must be one of the tallest in the world. Imagine being the one that has to raise that flag. Right behind it is the Royal Sengalore Club, during its heyday, the hangout of high-ranking British colonial society. A fire destroyed the club in the 1960s, but it has since been rebuilt and still serves as a favorite gathering spot for Kuala Lumpur's elite. See that large green field? That's a real leftover from the colonial era. It was the club's cricket pitch. There are a lot of historic buildings in this area. You can just imagine Victorian-era soldiers and ladies in long dresses suffering from the heat and going in and out of buildings like the Sultan Abdul Samad building, named after a reigning sultan. The British always, for good or bad, leave their mark on a place, and architecture is a big part of that. Interesting though, when it comes to food, the British always seem to take the influence of a locale they are colonizing rather than contribute anything. The Petronas Twin Towers have become iconic in Kuala Lumpur. Standing at 452 meters, they were the tallest buildings in the world from 1998 to 2004, and they remain, to this day, the tallest twin towers in the world. And that's not their only record. The sky bridge that connects the two towers on the 41st and 42nd floor create the highest two-story bridge in the world. The idea of walking across that is sort of terrifying. I think I'll just appreciate it from down here. And there's lots to enjoy. The first few floors of the building feature one of the largest shopping malls in Malaysia, and it's not just luxury goods. There's an art gallery, an underwater aquarium. The Confucius Was a Foodie crew and I are with Eli Suleiman from Food Channel Asia, heading into the Taman market. In the world of Chinese-style markets, this one would be called a wet market. That means it sells fresh fish, meat, and produce. Wait, is that our production manager getting a snack? We always wonder where he disappears to in markets. This place is a chef's dream. Tons of fresh ingredients, fresh meat, fish, and vegetables. It doesn't get any better. You can even get fresh, pre-made curry paste here. It's pretty magical. Intentionally, we're here later in the morning. If we were here at peak hours, our camera crew would cause a major traffic jam. This place gets really, really busy. This market's been around for nearly 30 years, with something like 270 stalls. It's a bit upscale with a lot of expats shopping here. To my eye, it's pretty special. And Eli says that even with major supermarkets readily available in Kuala Lumpur, these kinds of markets are still really popular. This is still where you get the freshest produce at the lowest prices. As in most Chinatowns that I've visited, Singapore's has more than just Chinese cuisines. In Southeast Asia, you're always going to find the cultural and culinary mix of Indian and Chinese. He's making a flatbread that's for sure more Indian than Chinese. Depending on how it's made, it can be a roti prata, or a paratha. This is one of the best rotis I've ever had right here in Chinatown. That says a lot about Southeast Asia right there. Tossed onto a flat grill and cooked to perfection, it's crispy on the outside, soft and fluffy on the inside. Usually you dip it into a curry, but if you're feeling adventurous, you can add toppings, cheese, onions, bananas, chocolate, mushrooms, eggs. A definite must-try when visiting Southeast Asia. Oh man, there goes our production manager again, hawking for food, no pun intended. If you're in Singapore, you've got to come to Hawker Chan. I'm on Smith Street. This is in Chinatown, downtown Singapore. And sometimes you hear of a place that's so amazing and it's overrated and you go and you think, is this everything? This is not that place. Here, they make an iconic dish, and that is chicken and rice. Did I mention it has a Michelin star? So when you're in Singapore, make sure to check out Hawker Chan. Singapore's Chinatown's really impressive. It has a very different feel from the rest of the city with its low-rise buildings and old shop houses. Big parts of this area have been designated as National Historic Sites for preservation. I love how diverse this area is. You can find a Chinese temple next to a Hindu temple right alongside a mosque. Hawkers line the streets, and because this is Singapore, They are really neatly organized. Most Chinese influence markets are organized chaos, but that just doesn't fly in Singapore. This one is super clean and tidy, but it still has all the wonderful fragrances. If you're a foodie in Singapore, this is the place for you. You have to try the classic Hainanese chicken rice, or char kway teow, or satay. Oh, and don't forget to try the kaya toast and pulled tea. Click the icon to see some pulled tea action. And this place goes on and on. You could walk through all the narrow alleys and main streets for days and not be done.